It's the maiden edition of our annual Tafseer program. And we have invited our Ustaz, who is well known to most of us, if not all of us, is Ustaz Al-Imam Dr. Ajijolakewu Kamoldeen, who is a lecturer at the University of Ilorin, Department of Microbiology, and also the Imam of Al-Haji Yahya Olushola Sani Mosque, popularly known as Sanrab Mosque. Inshallah is going to take us through the tafsir of Surah Ibrahim, starting from verse 22 and ending at verse 27. We want to apologize for starting late. Logistic, technical issues from our end. We ask Allah to overlook our shortcomings. And we equally pray to Him to make it easy for the lecturer to deliver the lecture and for us, the listeners, to understand everything He's going to teach us. I just saw him now. I doubt if he's still in. But in any case, we will start the program as soon as it comes in, inshallah. All right, I think it's back in. So if you have your mushaf, we would encourage you to open to Surah Ibrahim, and you turn to the page containing verse 22. May Allah make it easy. I will continue to play the Quran until, yeah. Okay, I think it's in. Ustaz, can you please unmute yourself? It looks like you're muted right now.
Oh, naam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's okay.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
So, you are still on? Oh,
yes.
Yes means you are still on.
No. I've
You are done.
Yes.
Done. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah. والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحابته أجمعين. I've been giving praise, thanks, and glorification to Allah, the Lord of the universe, the beneficent, the merciful. I beseech Him to shower His endless mercy and benediction upon the noble soul of Prophet Muhammad ibn Abdullah, his household, companions, and the generality of Muslims to the day of reckoning. I will want to start without much ado because our time is fast spent. May Allah reward the organizer of this program for bringing us together, at least to learn some basics in our religion. And this time is a period where we have to read the Quran the more. The month of Ramadan is a month of Quran, as said by Allah in Surah Al-Baqarah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن. The method we're going to employ in this very short period is that we're going to recite first. You listen while I recite, and then I will go to the interpretation of the meaning of the verses. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide our tongue, our hearts, and our thinking. Beforehand, the coordinator or the moderator, I don't know if my voice is being heard.
Yes, it's clear.
Yes, your voice is very clear, sir.
الحمد لله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. وقال الشيطان لما قضي الأمر إن الله وعدكم وعد الحق ووعدتكم فأخلفتكم وما كان لي عليكم من سلطان إلا أن دعوتكم فاستجبتم لي فلا تلوموني ولوموا أنفسكم ما بمصرخكم وما أنتم بمصرخي إن كفرت بما أشركتمون من قبل إن الظالمين لهم عذاب أليم وأدخل الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها بإذن ربهم تحيتهم فيها سلام ألم تر كيف ضرب الله مثلا كلمة طيبة كشجرة طيبة أصلها ثابت وفرعها في السماء تؤتي أكلها كل حين بإذن ربها ويضرب الله الأمثال للناس لعلهم يتقون ومثل كلمة خبيثة كشجرة خبيثة اجتثت من فوق الأرض ما لها من قرار يثبت الله الذين آمنوا بالقول الثابت في الحياة الدنيا في الآخرة ويضل الله الظالمين ويفعل الله ما يشاء. اللهم ارحمنا بالقرآن. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Ibrahim in verses 22 to 27. I know the organizer has a reason for choosing this verse. And actually, the verse I was asked to talk about, a verse that preceded it, is always looked together. Allah said, وَبَرَزُوا لِلَّهِ جَمِيعًا. Then on the day of resurrection, all of them will come forth to Allah, gathered, waiting to receive their judgment. فَقَالَ الضُّعَفَاءُ لِلَّذِينَ اسْتَكْبَرُوا. The weak ones will tell those who feel pompous, those who were their leaders, those whom they adore and follow. They would now say, reiterating what is known to them, Inna kunna lakum taba'a. It is obvious that from the sequence of this sentence, this is when they were gathered before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will decide where everyone goes. But the truth is, even the wrongdoers will know that they cannot escape the punishment, because there are several punishments that all mankind would have gone through. And that is, we staying, may Allah preserve, may Allah protect us. Men staying under scorchingly hot sun, standing while they are off clothes, while they are barefooted, all waiting to receive their own result. So then the weak one will tell the stronger ones then on heart that innakum lakum taba'a. We used to be your followers. We used to be your fans. We used to obey you. You used to command us. We are your group members. فَأَنْتُمْ مُغْنُونَ عَنَّا مِنْ عَذَابِ اللَّهِ مِنْ شَيْءٍ. This apparent punishment that is coming, would you be able to protect us from it? All the leaders, the stronger ones on heart, then will say to them, لَوْ هَدَانَ اللَّهُ لَهَدَيْنَاكُمْ. We miss the way, but the truth is, it isn't we on our own volition alone that God missed the way. We were misled by several factors, and Allah has destined that. If Allah has guided us to that which will save you, we too would have guided you. Sawa'un alayna. But today the punishment is obvious. Sawa'un alayna. It is same for us. Ajazina, if we shout, we complain, we display signs of unsatisfaction. If you lie, you cry. I'm so bad now, or we choose to be patient with the punishment of Allah. Ma lana min mahis. We cannot escape, or they cannot escape this punishment. So even those that will inherit, those that will eventually fall in the punishment of hell, would have known why they are on stand. And there are things that lead to that. Because today is not a discussion in that regard, I will not be expatiating more on why would they have concluded that there is no safe way. But then, when they have now been destined to go to hell, Allah has finally concluded that they go to hell. Then the inheritors of hell would not say, وَقَالَ الشَّيْطَانِ لَمَّا قُضِيَ الْأَمْرُ. When Allah finally has served people their judgment, Shaitan will not say to his people, I mean those that are together in hell, إِنَّ اللَّهَ وَعَدَكُمْ وَعَدَ الْحَقِّ. Indeed, Allah has made wa'adul haqq, the truth promise Allah has given you on heart. And that truth promise is that they will be saved from hell and they will be inheritance of the paradise. Allah has given you truthful promise. وَوَعَدْتُكُمْ. Whenever wa'ad is mentioned in the Quran, it means the paradise, especially when it comes to Allah. وَعَدَ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ لَيَسْتَخْلِفَنَّهُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ. And then وَعَدَ اللَّهُ لَا يُخْلِفُ اللَّهُ الْمِيعَادَ. وَعَدَ الْحَقِّ. The truthful promise is the paradise. Allah has promised you, and that's the result of doing good. وَوَعَدْتُكُمْ. Then as Allah said, Shaitan will say, I also made promises to you, فَأَخْلَفْتُكُمْ, but I couldn't fulfill. Scholar says, what are the promises of Shaitan? Shaitan, one would not just come to a reasonable human being and take him out of the feature Allah has created him on. But then, what are the promises? The promise is whatever Allah has told you is not real. And then he will justify that with everything so obvious to us. For instance, except for those whom Allah has guided, he will demonstrate to you that the world is just naturally being. For something that most of us here study sciences, is that no, it is just by all this theory, it is Big Bang theory, it is this, it is that. And then, as Allah justified or told us in the Quran, some of them will even bring a dilapidating, or we say a disintegrating bone, to say, who is going to return life to this? Shaitan will speak in the mouth of other person. Shaitan will beautify the word to us that as if there is no other life after being on earth. Those are the things Shaitan will say that want to belie the promises of Allah. What are the promises of Shaitan? He will say, there is no life after this. In here, illa hayatuna dunya. And that's the promise. So most other scholars say the promise of Shaitan is there will not be hereafter, but if there will be, he will save people. And then we have evidences of that. There are some people who say, وَلَئِن رُدِدْتُ إِلَىٰ رَبِّي لَأَجِدَنَّ خَيْرًا مِنْهَا مُنْقَلَبًا. When that man that you used to read in Surah to Al-Kahf went to his garden estate, he said, oh man, inna Allah wa'adakum, he said, ma adhunnu an tabida hadhihi abada. He said, this one that I'm saying can never be destroyed. وَمَا أَظُنُّ السَّاعَةَ قَائِمًا. And that he didn't believe that the last hour will come. But chance, if there is this last hour, he said, from this my estate, I am going to have a lot to return to. These are the things that Shaitan promises. One, he promises you that the life is only for you for a time, and you cease to be for another time, but you never be resurrected. The second promise of Shaitan is, if perchance Allah resurrects you, he is going to give you a way out of the punishment of Allah. But indeed, when all this has been said, no one has seen Shaitan. But Shaitan will claim it. He said, I used to say, I say, maybe through his accomplices from men and the jinn. وَوَعَدْتُكُمْ فَأَخْلَفْتُكُمْ وَمَا كَانَ لِيَ عَلَيْكُمْ مِنْ سُلْطَانٍ. But despite all this, I don't have sultan. Sultan in the Quran is being translated in two ways. We are in learning class. The first one is evidence. Evidence. Shaitan will give you false evidence. And you know, some things that are not true but will be presented to you as true. Shaitan would give you fake evidence, and the less reasoning individual or reasonable individual will take it as evidence. Shaitan said, I even know himself. He knows that وَمَا كَانَ لِيَ عَلَيْكُم مِّن سُلْطَانٍ. Sultan, that's the first one. And that's what you read in the Quran. Then again, there is another sultan. The other sultan is to have power of seduction, power of control, power of deceit to deceive you. Because you will read in the Quran where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala established sultan for shaitan, even on me. And here he said, I do not have sultan. So how do we merge the two together? The first one is sultan al-hujjah. The second one is sultan al-khida'. Sultan al-hujjah is to give you concrete evidence to justify. Rather, all evidences are opposite to what shaitan will say. For instance, I would demonstrate that this word is just like when you do this, and you put a seed on the ground, it grows, then it turns leafy with fruits, then it got destroyed, then rain falls, it comes back to life. Allah give you evidence, reasonable, that you will know that, okay, why everything has been destroyed? How are these things coming back to life? These are evidence that Allah can still return anybody that have lived on this surface of the earth, can return into life. But Shaitan will say no. So the evidence that Shaitan provides are just the sins. Allah said, إِنَّهُ لَيْسَ لَهُ سُلْطَانٌ عَلَى الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَلَىٰ رَبِّهِمْ يَتَوَكَّلُونَ. He will not have evidence. He will not have hujjah. He will not have concrete thing to refer to, only for those who believe in Allah. SubhanAllah. My brothers and sisters, you would see that most of us today, we got to be carried away by what Shaitan presents to us, as if we would not have even our own faculty of thinking to reconsider those things. He'll present the life to us. When you have strength, it makes you believe that you can never go sick. When you have money, it makes you believe that you can never go poor. When you have places, when you are rich, it made you believe that no, this is meant for you. And then that's how many people got straight away from the path of Allah. So these evidences, so you would not miss it. The one he gives are fake evidences. And those ones are the one Allah said he has. إِنَّمَا سُلْطَانُهُ عَلَى الَّذِينَ يَتَوَلَّوْنَ. Anybody that you see that follows him are those ones that takes his evidence. إِنَّمَا, that is to establish. Meaning that he has sultan. But the sultan is a deceit. To let you know that it's a deceit, Allah said in Surah Al-Fatir, Allah said, وَلَا تَغُرَّنَّكُمُ الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا وَلَا يَغُرَّنَّكُمْ بِاللَّهِ الْغَرُورُ. Do not allow the beauty of this world to deceive you from following Allah, and do not allow al-gharur, that is shaitan, the one who is misled and is ready to mislead people. Do not allow him to dissuade you from obedience to Allah. لَا يَغُرَّنَّكُمْ بِاللَّهِ الْغَرُورُ. So shaitan will never have sultan. The other meaning of sultan is that it doesn't have power over you. That can also be inferred from the second meaning. But power of shaitan to control the mind of people is inbuilt in his ability to deceive you. For those whom Allah guide, he will never be able to mislead them. He said, for all of you, I don't have evidence, but he has sultan of the seat. Don't forget. But he said, I don't have evidence on everything I'm presenting to you. So for you ever that decide to be misguided, you only decide to follow things that are not standing. Shaitan would disclaim people on the day of resurrection because every evidence so presented by Shaitan cannot stand water. He said, Illa an da'awtukum. I just have to call you, then you obey. Then fastajabtum, and you obey me. Why others did not? فَلَا تَلُومُونِي. Today, do not abuse me. Do not embarrass yourself. Do not proclaim my name. Rather, lumu anfusakum. You should rather blame yourself. And that's the truth. Subhanallah. Not only shaitan. You will see even from the previous verse, the leaders of disbelief would disown those who follow them. That you cannot claim we are the one that misled you. All this Allah is telling us. One, scholars brought from it that it is to tell you that things that will happen, how it will happen, is in the knowledge of Allah. That is one thing about the knowledge of Allah. And another thing is things that will happen, that will not happen. If it will happen, how it's going to happen, Allah knows. The discussion that Allah, or the conversation that Allah is telling us here, would definitely happen on the day of resurrection. I pray myself and you, the listener, will not be part of this conversation, because anybody who eventually is called to be part of this conversation is definitely in hell. May Allah protect us from work and deeds that lead us to hell. Ma ana bimusrikhikum. I cannot save you today. Many people used to say saraha, used to shout your name. But then you say ma ana bimusrikhikum, ma ana bimudfikum. I cannot free you today. Let you that got dissuaded by the worldly affair, by shaitanic influence, let you quickly realize that on that day, shaitan himself will disclaim you. Ma ana bimusrikhikum wa ma antum bimusrikhin. Then shaitan will say, you too, you cannot save him. So he said, Inni kafartu bima ashraktumuni min qabl. He said, I now want to establish to you, for all of you that worship other than Allah, and you claim that I'm the one that dissuade you, Inni kafartu bima ashraktumuni min qabl. I can never accept your worship, because I am not the meme there. they would say, Ma is that your worship that you used to link to me, or that your worship that you say I'm the one that mislead you. And indeed, inna الظالمين لهم عذاب أليم. Indeed, the wrongdoers are going to have a tormentful punishment. Brothers and sisters, why would Allah narrate all this to us when it has not even happened? It is to tell us that on the day of resurrection, no level of, no family, no angel, no prophet, even yourself, no one can save one another except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save you. And that shaitanic influence is real, despite that we may want to believe that we are thinking by ourselves. We used to say to people, whenever you consider things that is haram, shaitan is one playing with you, with your faculty of thinking, but you want to think that, no, I am the one that view it that way. You are under shaitanic influence. There are ways that shaitan influences individual. One is a direct one by which you will feel the touch of shaitan, and that's somebody walking on the way and fall. Allah says in Surah Al-Baqarah, shaitan bin al-mas, when shaitan touches some people, you will see who fall as if shaitan is touching him. I mean, that is people that will say they have been possessed. Okay. The second one is shaitan to guide or to influence your thoughts. In this regard, shaitan used to use, I told you that shaitan does not have the power of evidence, but he has the power of deceit. And it is very important to know how this deceit comes. This is what scholars call shubhat. Shubhat is something that looks like the truth, but it's not the truth. You will remember when the Prophet ﷺ said, Al-halal bayyin, al-haram bayyin, wa baynahuma umurun mushtabihat. The halal is clear, the haram is clear. But there are some unclear matters between both. Anybody that falls into shubhat, or the waqa of the haram, is indeed in that one which we call haram. My brothers and sisters, shaitan, I used to say, that shaitan do not have problem with you in coming himself. He rather stay and send his army. But from his army, we have the strong and we have the weak. For the weak one, he sent it to the unbelievers, those ones who do his wishes. But the stronger one that will come with undeniable facts to them, but it's actually an unclear thing. For instance, somebody will say, come, let's see. The world is growing by the day. How do you imagine that this world will come to an end? Satan will present it to you. You better take advantage of your life, and that's what many people do, regardless, even among the Muslims. My brothers and sisters, shaitan will never come to you and say, disbelieve in Allah. Take that away. But rather, he will come to you with things that you say, Allah will forgive me. I'm not the only one. Or he will come to you with things that you will see as halal when indeed it is haram. Shubhat. And that is, وَمَا كَانَ لِي عَلَيْكُم مِّن سُلْطَانٍ. He doesn't have the power of evidence. Well, he has the power that Allah mentioned, the power of deceit. Having said this, may Allah protect us from hell. Allah said regarding the Muslim, he said, وَأُدْخِلَ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ جَنَّاتٍ. But on the other hand, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will lead into the paradise. Allah, by His mercy. Alladina aman, those who believe in Allah. That is the result of obedience and believe in Allah. Wa amilu salihat, those that do righteousness. It isn't enough to say I have faith. For instance, somebody say I believe in Allah. It's a big thing. Truly we believe. But the truth is, you must accompany it with righteousness. Righteousness, we're in the month of righteousness, to fast is a righteousness. To pray is righteousness, to give sadaqah is righteousness, to call people to Allah is righteousness, to call on your friend and look after is righteousness. And Amilu Salihat, doing righteous deeds also can be interpreted as avoiding things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prohibited upon you. For instance, do not drink alcohol. Do not kill one another. Because there are two righteousness. One is af'al and the other one is turuk. Af'al is to do it. Turuk is to leave things that are bad. You see, in Islam, the Prophet said, the angels have been taught by Allah. Hadith ibn Abbas, the angels have been taught by Allah on how to write the good deeds of human beings, of Muslims. If you want to do manhamma bi hasanatin, if you want to do good deeds and you're able to do it, you have to understand. If you want to do good deeds, you are sincere about it, you are not able to do it, you have it once as if you have done it. If you want to do bad deeds and out of fear of Allah, you refuse to do it, it will rather be counted as good deed. Look at it. Turuk, leave it out, don't do it. For not to do it alone is rewarded, is recorded for you as righteousness. So when we're talking about righteousness, it's not only to praise Allah. Many people would do praise for that, fast in the month of Ramadan, but many things like saying things they have no knowledge about, backbiting, and many other things about other person would destroy all the goodies they have built over the year. So whenever we're talking about righteousness, do not consider it to mean give sadaqah alone. Yeah, it is part of it. But then it also includes avoid the prohibitions. Amilu salihat. For those who do this, Allah will guide you to Jannat, to paradise. Jannat tajri min tahtiha al-anhar, under which or beneath which anhar. Anhar are rivers flowing. It is for Allah has mentioned it to us. River of water, river of honey, river of wine, or of say alcohol, but say the one which will not cause you to be intoxicated. And the rivers of milk, may Allah not deny us any of these four on the day of resurrection. But they can only come with this condition. Amanu wa amilu salihat. But going to the paradise is not going to be just directly. One is that Khalidina fiha, whenever they step in paradise, they will never go out again. May Allah make Al-Jannah our abode. Khalidina fiha bi'idni rabbihim. Bi'idni rabbihim, the Prophet say it is only Allah that will permit us to go to the paradise, even though we are due for it. You cannot rob in. So bi'idni rabbihim. Or another thing to say about bi'idni rabbihim is even the righteous deed they are doing, it is Allah that permitted or assisted them. Tahiyyatuhum fiha salam. Whenever they go, they look after one another, they visit one another, how they greet is salam. Salam is to say salam alaikum. The scholars used to bring many things from this. Is it good? Most of it are type. Sometimes you just put salam. Some people will ask us this question that can you say salam and then it will be binding on me that I've heard you to say wa alaikum salam. Some scholars say it is okay. That when you silence things that are known in normalcy, that people will believe that you have said it, then there is no problem. The way the angels said when they went to visit Ibrahim, they said, Qalu salama. Or the one Allah said, Tahiyyatun fiya salam. But the truth is, how did the Prophet used to do it? The Prophet used to say it completely, Assalamu alaikum, Assalamu alaikum. So it is better to do that. But whenever you do it one time or the other, you just do it once, then there is inshallah no problem. Now, the second part of the lecture. There are benefits derivable from the first part because this first part is not linked directly to the second one. But then, from the wisdom of the organizers, they want us to combine two things. To warn us from the punishment of hell, that it is real. Scholars from the first section brought about 3 or 4 benefits. Number one is that it's not good to obey people blindfoldedly. Whenever you want to obey or follow somebody, try to know the basis on which his principles are based. Because of the day of resurrection, he would disown you. What benefit have you gained by obeying somebody that would disown you on the day of resurrection? The second one is shaitan is actually what people worship. Even if you do not see people worship shaitan directly, indirectly, they are worshiping him because shaitan will claim that those things you used to do, I disbelieve in them, I disown them. Number three is that Allah is so knowledgeable that he knows what will happen. And this conversation we just talked about will happen. May Allah make me and you, my good listeners, not part of those that are going to have that conversation in hell. Rather, may Allah make us those that will be marched into Al-Jannah, into the paradise with a special mercy. Number four is that you will see that Allah says, آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات. أدخل الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات. Those who believe in Allah and do righteous will be marched into the paradise. Allah ended that statement by saying, بِإِذْنِ رَبِّهِمْ. Meaning that we always need the guidance of Allah, even if we are doing good. You seek His guide, you seek His help. You have to pray unto Him to accept even that you're doing. Not that you believe that your action is the one that will take you solely to paradise. Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam once said that, please be moderate in your activities. Do that which Allah wants and avoid that which Allah prohibits. Because it isn't your work alone that takes you to paradise. Then this Sahaba, I'm talking about you, the Prophet said even me, except that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestowed His mercy on me. I pray Allah bestow His mercy on you, the listener, and I, the speaker. Having said this, the second part, ألم تر كيف ضرب الله مثلا كلمة طيبة كشجرة طيبة أصلها ثابت وفرعها في السماء. Said, do you not see how Allah has made example of كلمة طيبة, the good speeches, the good statement, the good sentences, the good word, pure words. Allah said, the good words, example of it is like كشجرة طيبة, the pure trees. أصلها ثابت, the root is firm. وفرعها في السماء, but the branches are everywhere in the heaven. Brothers and sisters, what is the meaning of kalimatun tayyibah? Kalimatun tayyibah that Allah is praising here is to tell us that we need to be saying it. Most scholars, if not all, why I use most is everyone I've read so far have not disagreed on the meaning of kalimatun tayyibah. The sole meaning is to say La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah is a kalimatun tayyibah. Al-Imam Ibn Taymiyyah did a book, he authored a book, he called it Al-Kalimu Tayyib. Al-Kalimu Tayyib. And he said it is not restricted to La ilaha illallah. All other good adhkar that you know, La ilaha illallah. But everything has to, has to do with La ilaha illallah. Kalimatun Tayyibah, as said by Allah, is La ilaha illallah, or anything that has La ilaha illallah. For instance, La ilaha illa anta subhanaka inni kuntu min al-zalimin. La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu lahul mulku wa lahul hamdu wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. Why is this statement so important? It is because it's a statement of belief in Allah subhanahu. Kalimatan tayyibah kashajaratin tayyibah. Example of kalimatun tayyibah is like a shajara at-tayyibah, the pure tree. What do we mean by this? Whenever you plant and the tree grows, it brings out branches. It also brings out fruits. And as a tuti ukula kulla hinin bi'idni rabbiha, it gave it fruit every time. When we say every time, in the day, in the night, in the dry season, in even the wet season. Scholars said the kalimatun the shajaratun tayyibah is that particular tree that you know, the date palm tree. It's a blessed tree. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can describe his statement, al-kalimu tayyibu, and compare it with that, it means it's a blessed tree. And you find it in several places. Even Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reviewed verses in his honor. But today is not what we are talking about. We are talking about al-kalimu tayyib. How is it? This particular tree that you know is just like our own palm tree that is common to us. Everything with the tree is beautiful. Everything with the tree is good. One, you can get the date palm, just like own even palm oil tree. You go from it, they make you can make our mats, you can make from it broom, you can get clothes, you can even sell it, you can make a lot.
Lecturer.
Lecturer now.
Hello.
30 minutes.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Sir.
So I'm hearing some background voices. I'm thinking you had to stop, right? Are we still on in the class?
Yes. I think somebody forgot
Yes, we are with you,
to
doctor.
As no habit. So we're saying Allah compares our good ones, the kalimat tayyibu, that is la ilaha illallah. Now, he said the root is good because it has to do with trees. And the branches, things that come out of this la ilaha illallah, are also good. What are things that come out? Let me give you an example. When you say la ilaha illallah, it is recorded that you become a Muslim. And that is why even for somebody who have not taken that spiritual bath, he become Muslim by just uttering, by saying la ilaha illallah. As you know, in the case of Usama ibn Zayd, that wanted to kill a kafir, and the kafir quickly said, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, then they killed him thereafter. He reported to the Prophet. The Prophet said, he was happy. The Prophet was happy with him before he narrated the event. But on mentioning this to the Prophet changed. And he said, oh Usama, what would you say when the statement stand by you, by Allah, and say somebody say La ilaha illallah and you kill him? It means that he became a Muslim just by saying it. We cannot, we cannot open up his heart to know if he's really truthful about it or not. If somebody says, La ilaha illallah, believe he's a Muslim, until he does activities that say, no, he isn't. Why? When Usama was trying to justify his action, the Prophet said, Allah shakakta sutra. Why don't you open up his heart so you will know if he's saying the truth or not? That's the first thing. What comes out of that La ilaha illallah as a statement? Scholars said it in two ways that look like the branches. One are the activities that are very good or be coming out. They say whenever somebody has the faith, he will behave normally. It will be guided by his statement. It will be guided by his action. You will see him always like to return to Allah in terms of his activities that are righteous. He will always say that which is good. That's number one. Number two, of the manifestation of the branches is that whenever you say La ilaha illallah, it is a form of protection. You remember in the hadith, Prophet said, whenever say La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah, lahul mulku wa lahul hamdu wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. In another place, yuhyi wa yumitu wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. Allah will give him five rewards. One, he will protect him from evils 100 times. When he said in the morning, Allah will protect him from all evils. All we start from where the Prophet started. 100 reward will be recorded for him. 100 sins will be forgiven. It will be recorded for him as if he manumitted 10 slaves from the children of Ismail. No level, no evildoer, no witches or witchcraft or any other thing will be able to harm him if he says in the morning before the sunset. If he said after sunset, no evil doer will be able to catch up with him until the morning. It means just because he said La ilaha illallah 100 times. And the last one is nobody will be able to exceed him, to get before him rewards with Allah, except anybody who does more than him. I can propose to you, my listener, that in this month of Ramadan, try to do a adhkar that has La ilaha illallah more. It purifies you. It raises your status before Allah. It protects you from evil eyes. Especially La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah. له الملك وله الحمد وهو على كل شيء قدير. Another thing around this kalimat al-tayyibah is it is the one good thing that we are going to meet on the day of resurrection. Allah said in Surah Al-Kahf, وَالْبَاقِيَاتُ الصَّالِحَاتُ خَيْرٌ عِنْدَ رَبِّكَ ثَوَابًا وَخَيْرٌ أَمَلًا. He said, Al-Baqiyat Salihat is the one that is better with your Lord in terms of reward and what you can expect to meet. What they call Baqiyat Salihat. The Prophet said, Al-Baqiyat Salihat, Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, wa la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. 5 statements. Whoever keep to it, you are keeping good deed. I used to tell people that you don't need to be rich to get into paradise. In fact, you will have a very high position before Allah whenever you keep to al-kalimatu tayyibah. Take to kalimatu tayyibah, having said that it is saying La ilaha illallah and believing in it. Scholar also say it is also saying good word. And that is what Allah had asked us to do in Surah Al-Furqan, Surah Al-Ahzab. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, last part. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu ittaqullaha wa qulu qawlan sadida. Say good words. Whenever you now do this, Allah said, your actions, your statement are just like the blessed tree, which give its fruit every time. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala yadribullah al-amthal. Allah makes similitude to you. لَعَلَّهُمْ يَتَذَكَّرُونَ. So you can also make good inference. So you can also take advantage of that. My brothers and sisters, I want to believe those who organize this want me to remind you the benefit of adhkar. I delivered a lecture yesterday. I said, when the evildoer after you, they will not be able to catch up with you except if you have a receiver. A receiver or a receptor part in your body. That receptor has to do with your lack of remembrance of Allah. And the best of all remembrance is to always do La ilaha illallah. If you don't have any of that, adhkar, do La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah. له الملك وله الحمد وهو على كل شيء قدير. Allah said, but example is similitude of the filthy words, the kalimatul kufr, words of disbelief in Allah. Allah said, كَمَثَلِ كَشَجَرَةٍ خَبِيثَةٍ. It is like a filthy tree. It is often removed from the surface of the heart. It is not planted in a way like others. It grows, but you can only move it. I don't know if people do not understand Yoruba, but I want to say, the third example is that your it is that your egusi. That melon is taste is bad. Doesn't have good smell, doesn't have good taste. It has everything bad about it. In fact, one of the names they used to call the melon, if you have the power, you may not want to take a goosey again. Because Allah has not called it a good name. He said it doesn't have barakah. They said that specific tree, it doesn't grow out. It rather grow on the surface of the earth, and people will be removing it. It's a melon, but different from watermelon. This one is that one that you take, that you make a goosey, or they call it bara. Al-Khantola. In fact, one of the names is, they call it Shajaratu Abi Lahab. May Allah protect us. So Shajaratu Khabitha, but it is not to condemn anything today. It is to tell you any word that is not leading to believe in Allah is regarded as a futile word. And we should not utter it because it rather destroy what you build in your faith. Allah says, Allah establishes and makes firm those who believe in Allah bil qawli thabit. This same word that we're saying, La ilaha illallah, Allah establishes those that believe in Allah fil hayat dunya wa fil akhirah. On heart and on the day of resurrection, Allah keep you firm, make you steadfast. What do we mean by this? The steadfastness on this word is against two things. There are two tribulations. There are two texts from Allah. There are two texts. Sorry, some people are disturbing the lecture. So the tribulations come in terms of presentation of with this shubha. They give you false evidence the way Shaitan would do. When you say La ilaha illallah and believe in it, Allah will keep you firm. The second one is fitnatu ash-shahawat. When you believe in La ilaha illallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make you firm in the face of trials of this material world. Trial of false evidence. Many people that fall into different sects is because of the false and baseless evidences they are declining upon. The second trial or tribulation is as a result of materialism. When you do La ilaha illallah and you believe in it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will purify your heart and will guide you to that which is good. That is the fitna on the surface of the heart that Allah will keep you firm. You see, the opposite of this fitna is those people who have been misled. Alhamdulillah, you can gather up today, look after one another. When you see some of us that have passed through the same system, you want to regret even knowing them. This is what they have been carried away by the tribulation of materialism, the material world. It is only the belief in Allah that keep you firm in the face of the material trials. My brothers, money can cause a lot of havoc. Women can cause a lot of havoc. And there are a lot of problems that associate with seeking worldly things. But if you believe in life, this same strength will be multiplied to even when you are eventually under the grave. Al-akhirah in this sense is not the akhirah of Yawm al-Qiyamah. The purpose of whoever died, his own akhirah has started. It implies when you believe in La ilaha illallah, when the angels come to you to question you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will keep your feet firm. يثبت الله الذين آمنوا بالقول الثابت في الحياة الدنيا. Standing firm against the trials of shubha, standing firm against the trials of shahwa. That is materialism and fake evidences. That is for word. But under the grave, it is a fitna of the dreaded or dreadful angels that will come to ask you about your Lord, that will come to ask you about your religion, that will come to ask you about your prophets. People will be scared. Their faces cannot be withstand. But the truth is, when you have La ilaha illallah, Allah will keep you firm, especially if you do it and believe in it. يثبت الله الذين آمنوا بالقول الثابت في الحياة الدنيا. سبحان الله. وفي الآخرة ويضل الله الظالمين. But those who are oppressors, those who do not believe in Allah, those who do other than what Allah wants, يضل الله الظالمين. Allah will allow them to be misled so that they will not be able to stand firm. My brother, anybody that you see that got misled on heart, he has problem. Allah called them zalimun before he said they are misled. So when you see people that are striving while they are in school, and after school, they go misled, carried away. They are vulnerable. There are things they are doing that Allah doesn't want, and that allows them to be misled. May Allah protect me and you and me, so that we will not fall in this category of people. And in this regard, I want to advise us, let us strive by the extent of our ability to attain the mercy of Allah. Not the extent of our ability for the worldly affair, because it presents the world another climb to you. Most of our brothers outside the shore of Nigeria, the way we look at issues is not the way they look. Of course, you live by your own standard, but every standard needs to be guided by the standard regulated by Allah. This one, you know, when you are in Nigeria, it is not good. This same thing will not be good when you are in Canada, except if it is good in Nigeria, if it is religious provisions. Because anybody that got misled after being guided, the person is already a wrongdoer, is a volume. And that is why we want to teach more the belief. When you have correct belief, anywhere you are on the surface of the heart, you will be able to stand in the face of the two trials of fake evidences and trial of materialism. وَيُضِلُّ اللَّهُ الظَّالِمِينَ وَيَفْعَلُ اللَّهُ مَا يَشَاءُ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does whatever He wills. It is our hope and sincere prayer that Allah will keep us firm by our belief in La ilaha illallah, and on the day on heart, and even on the day of resurrection, so we'll be among the blessed. This is where I've been asked to render the meaning or the interpretation of the meaning of this verse. Let us ruminate over them and try to make better inferences. Read from the work of scholars. You will see that these verses are things that they are indispensable, like other verses of the Quran. You will know the reasons why you have to do a lot of adhkar, especially the has la ilaha illallah. And again, you will know that it is not good just to follow somebody without knowing the basis by which the person acts, because whomever you follow would disown you outrightly on the day of resurrection, the day when nobody can save the other person. It is my sincere prayer that we will be able to benefit from this discussion, and in fact, from the month of Ramadan as a whole. Allah reward the organizer. Forgive me for any misdoing as regards this lecture. If I have said the correct thing, may Allah accept it. Anything that is missaid that is wrong, may Allah forgive me and guide us all to the right path. Barakallahu fikum. Wa sallallahu wa sallam ala Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Jazakumullah khairan to our lecturer. It has been a very interesting and educative session. We have been receiving series of very good reviews. People have been inboxing me, people have been sharing that this lecture has come at a very good time. It is so timely. And then we must have learned one or two things from the lecture. We once again appreciate our lecturer for finding time, even though Ramadan is so busy for everybody, especially those who do reminders, those who do lectures, so busy for them. But he has honored us because he's one of us. I remember my time at the University of Ilorin. You know, the first day I met him was at the Students' Mosque, and I was carried away by, you know, his detailedness during his lecture, the way he explains, you have to understand. And then he has been consistent on this path of dawah ilallah, based on the understanding of the pious predecessors, following the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And I want to implore us to also make the most of this lecture. It is so practical. He has been giving us examples. He has given us practical tips, what you need to do, the adhkar, the benefits, and then what you can do throughout Ramadan. May Allah in His infinite mercy reward our lecturer. I would not want to, repeat what he has said, but we will give room for 2 questions only because of time. And before we take the questions, I want to quickly run us through our lineup of programs. So the first one I'll be talking about is the Ramadan lecture for next weekend. It's supposed to be a weekly thing. So we are going to have another session next weekend, Sunday 9th of March. And it's going to be done by Imam Zulnurain Olodon. And he's going to do the tafsir of Surah to Ali Imran from verse 100 to verse 110. Okay. I can see that the Ramadan program timetable has been shared. Kindly copy it and save it somewhere in your notes, but I'll quickly run through it for the benefit of those who may miss it. And on Sunday, 16th of March, we are going to have our main Ramadan lecture. Before now, we used to just have the Ramadan lectures either virtually or in person, and that's it. But this time around, we decided to introduce Tafseer sessions. So the first week and second week are for Tafseer, and then the third week is for our Ramadan lecture, and then the last weekend of Ramadan is for Tafseer. 3 Tafseer sessions, 1 lecture. But on the day of the lecture, which is the 16th of March, we are going to have 2 lectures. The theme of the Ramadan lecture is the Quranic blueprint for excellence. The Quranic blueprint for excellence. And the first lecture is going to be done by Dr. Mutiu Agboke. The topic is Achieving Excellence in Faith, Work, and Society. And then the second lecture will be done by Dr. Abdul Hamid Badmas. And the topic is Muhammad, the Epitome of Excellence. And then on the last weekend, which is for Tafsir, again, we are going to go through the Tafsir of Surah to Al-Hadid from verses 16 to 24, and it will be done by Barrister Abdul Latif Akorede Giathuddin. May Allah accept this as an act of ibadah. So that's the program schedule for the rest of Ramadan. Okay. I am going to quickly go to the questions. Okay, one, I'm trying to see if any of them relate to this. Okay. None of them relate to the topic I've just mentioned, but inshallah, I would read them out if it's okay. So the first question says that, can a pregnant woman who is heavily pregnant do fidya to pay for her fast? If yes, will she repay the fast when she gives birth? That's the first question.
Okay.
And the second question is that, please, does it suffice to say that we can still stick to the English interpretation of the Quran, considering the detailed explanation he just gave, so that people won't be misled while seeking interpretation of the Quran from the Afars? Do you want me to take that again, sir?
I'm okay.
All right, sir. So those are the 2 questions we'll be taking because of time. But if the lecturer says otherwise, then I think we have one more question here.
Okay, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Let me quickly run through the 2. And as you know, my mom has been on my neck now, so I have to be as part of practical implication of what to preach. Okay, number 1 is that as for the condition of the woman, there are 2 opinions from scholars. 1 or even 3. One is she should just do fidya and forget it. The other one is she will do fidya if she is afraid on her soul. For instance, that if she decides to fast, she may be weakened, or she may fall sick, or can lead to any unwanted situation that has to do with her alone, not even the baby. So they said if it is that condition, most of them say, some of them say, and which is the opinion of most Jumhur, they said if it is that, she will feed and also in order not to take much time, you will see there is a break in the transmission. My mommy is calling me, so she can do the fidya. That is the one I worship Allah with, and not to repay the fast. As for the second person, let him or her always read from that English rendition, but she should not take it, or he or she should not take it as the final. Scholars always have better explanation. Scholars always have better rendition that cannot be expressed in English. So in other words, let us still read that English, but still call scholars for explanation. This is what I can say. Barakallahu fikum. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We sincerely thank our lecturer, Jazakumullah khairan, and we look forward to the next one. Inshallah, we permit you to leave if you need to.
We are always one. Please let me attend to my mommy. Thank you.
Yes. We are happy for you to leave. So I can see some of the our leaders in the executive team of the association. I'm going to call on Dr. Abdullahi Shola to have a word with us and to do the final, the outro for the meeting. Jazakumullah khairan. If he's still here, we would like to hear from him.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. On behalf of the executive of Unilomga, we want to thank our guest lecturer, person of Sheikh Dr. Ajijolakewu, for his time and for the knowledge he has shared with us. We pray Allah to continue to preserve him upon goodness and continue to increase him in knowledge. And we want to thank all other participants for taking out their time. We pray Allah to accept this from each and every one of us as an act of ibadah. We want to appeal to all members of Unilomga that the association remains the property of all of us, not a body that belongs to the executive alone. So in whatever way that we think the association can be moved forward, the executive are always open to us, and we will always appreciate our support in whatever way. And we also want to appeal to us that like any association, Unilomga is in need of our support, both financially and as well as in kind. So we want to do more as much as we can get to be supported by members. And we pray Allah is going to assist each and every one of us. So we can use this month of Ramadan to extend our hands of generosity to the association, as we have a lot of activities we plan even beyond the Ramadan. So thank you so much, and we pray Allah reward each and every one of us. Jazakumullah khairan wa ahsanallahu ilaykum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. سبحانك اللهم بحمدك ونشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت ونستغفرك ونتوب إليك. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. See you next weekend, inshallah.
Wow.